This is Appalachian Television Media, improving America. It's 3:08. You are listening to Midnight in the Wasteland. This is Nightwatch. 2 weeks ago, we spoke about the pumpkin house and the seeds that were supposed to keep the harvest glowing forever. I said I'd share what I learned when the messages piled up and the wind changed. They have. It did. Foundation wrote first. Not the kids this time. The Watch. The Guardian. Soft step. Sharper pencil. She said the East plots went wrong fast. Leaves the color of old coins. Vines tough as cable. Fruit warm, even when frost painted the rails. Then overnight, like a tide going out, the pumpkins darkened, orange to oily black. Coal with a memory. A knife squealed metal on rind, left a bright curl the color of ash. No seeds inside. A pith that actually didn't act like pith, and a smell like burnt sugar and rain on hot iron. They dimmed their lanterns and pretended not to notice the warmth leaking under the snow. Sutton sent notes on a single sheet, each line a different hand. One said the Miller boy woke with a nosebleed and a headache that gripped behind the eyes and refused to let go. Another said hair came out in the wash pans, gray-orange at the roots, as if the pumpkins had remembered them. Another wrote, slow and careful, like a prayer that didn't want to be heard wrong, that there was a hum in the yard after midnight, faint and steady, louder when the wind tried to quiet down. They burned 3 of the gourds, smoke that didn't rise straight, ash that held a glow for too long. By evening, the soil was warm again. Flatwood sent a runner, didn't want to come inside. Spoke like someone afraid to wake something sleeping. He said one of the original kids, small, fast, dark hair always in her eyes, had been heard talking to the ground. Said she stood barefoot in the garden and told the soil it didn't have to be alone. Yesterday morning, she was gone. Prints for 50 feet, sharp and small, cut clean in the frost. Then nothing. Just a wide, soft space where the earth had looked freshly turned and had the nerve to steam. The Brotherhood came, not loudly. 3 scribes, 2 knights, a paladin who wore authority like a coat he couldn't take off. They measured. They sampled. Spoke in that language that likes nouns sharp and is verbs obedient. Slices of black rind, cores of earth still bleeding heat, tins that hissed when open to air. Out at the pumpkin house, what was left of it. They turned the Mr. Handy to its back and read the story engraved in its memory. Holiday protocols patched with salvage routines. A radiation management directive stitched into a line about morale. Maintain seasonal spirit. Promote yield under adverse conditions. The scribes didn't flinch. The paladin did, but only in his eyes. They said the trace matched isotopes you don't find in kitchen gardens. Said the seeds carried a kindness, sharpened into a weapon. They said the word contamination 3 times, like it was a fence. They sealed the plots. Foundation, Sutton, Flatwoods, red rope, warning plates, men with long guns looking at the ground like it might look back. But at night, when the lanterns go out, the vines pulse. Not light you can see if you wanted to see it. More like a glow the body recognizes. A grandmother near a foundation said her bones ache in time with something that she can't name. A boy in Sutton heard whispering on his windowsill. and found only a leaf pressed flat against the glass. Veins mapped like a hand. Another traveler passed the hill. Said the pumpkin house still stood, grin and all. Roof biting the sky. Up close, the rod had learned math. Porch rails in shapes you don't get from weather. Steps that flex under weight like they remember being wood and don't like the memory. Jack-o'-lantern was there, laid out on the kitchen floor, arms folded like a saint at rest. They took his memory, left his voice. When the breeze shifts, he says, bring me pumpkins, and I'll give you a prize. He didn't ask for answers. He didn't need to. The machine did its job. Morale maintained. Harvest enhanced. One of the Brotherhood scribes told a trader later, some systems don't fail. They just keep doing what they were built to do. On the hill behind the house, the earth still moves like breathing. Slow, tired, too big. A crow landed, thought better of it, and left. You don't need faith to understand instinct. A settler said the air tastes sweet there. Another said it tastes like metal that forgives nothing. They can't agree on the smell, but they do agree that it changes when you notice it. Foundation reports, the black gourds do not rot. They hold the shape like promises no one meant to make. Sutton says their good dog won't cross the garden fence. And that's the kind of fact that will never make it into a report, but it keeps you honest. Flatwood sent no letter, only a runner, with his hat in his hands. He said the family moved their beds to the common room. Said the girl with the hair in her eyes is still missing. Said the soil by the fence melts boot prints, flat, by the morning. It would be easy to end here, on fear. Fear is lazy work that pays fast, but we've earned more than easy. Those children wanted to make something glow in a dead world. They were offered away, and they took it with the bright greed that young carry without shame. The machine wanted to make the dark polite. It did what it knew. The Brotherhood wants to make lines that hold. So do I. So do you. Maybe this was hope that forgot to ask what it cost. Maybe warmth and arm are first cousins. Maybe it's just another holiday we don't know how to keep. No one knows if the vines will die when the real frost comes. No one knows if the missing will be found, or if found and missing are words that the garden even recognizes. They say the black fruit looks back if you look long enough. They say that the children sleep with the windows latched, even when the room turns mean with heat. If you planted one of those seeds, don't punish yourself. If you're thinking about cutting the vines at midnight, don't go alone. If your soil is warm when it shouldn't be, write to me, or tie a ribbon on the fence, or tell the first traveler who looks like they'll tell it straight. We're better at this when we remember we're not the only ones awake. I promised to tell you what I learned when the wind changed. Here it is. Maybe they were just trying to make something grow in a dead world. Maybe that's what we all do. Plant what we can't understand and call it hope. Well, this is Nightwatch. Halloween's almost over. The Knights will keep their teeth for a while yet. I'll be here tomorrow and the next night, and however many after that the transmitter and the heart will allow. Until then, bank the fire. Water nothing you can't name. And if the garden hums, listen. But don't lean too close.